So this week has been a mixed bag of things. And yesterday, Quentin and I were watching the Justice League. And Lois Lane read this at the closing of the movie. And the Justice League, if you haven't seen it yet, is where an all-star team of superheroes, of course, saves the world from this vicious monster. Darkness. The truest darkness is not the absence of light. It is the conviction that the light will never return. But the light always returns to show us things familiar, home, family, and things entirely new or long overlooked. It shows us new possibilities and challenges us to pursue them. This time the light shone on the heroes coming out of the shadows to tell us that we won't be alone again. Our darkness was deep and seemed to swallow all hope. But these heroes were there the whole time to remind us that hope is real, that you can see it. All you have to do is look up in the sky. I love superhero movies. And they remind me of not just our potential, but who we are. That we are the superheroes in our lives. And as we often talk about, the challenge is that we often don't feel so super or like heroes, let alone a superhero in our own life. So since I started here in February, I've been on this trajectory where I said, okay, for 6 months, I just want to be all in and gain some momentum and get some growth going before I take a Sunday off. But I never thought about what the end game would be. And I never thought about how is my body, how is my mind, how is my soul and my heart going to sustain that along the way. And I think what we often do in life is we start chugging down the tracks without knowing or thinking about how do we take care of ourselves. And so, remember we talked about the car and the 4 wheels and balancing our lives, body, mind, spirit, and heart? So my car this week was leaning to one side. 2 wheels running real low. And I was kind of struggling with how do I refuel? How do I get air back in these tires? How do I find myself back to where I want to be? Because the body was feeling really, really tired. And I felt like I was starting to catch a cold. And I've talked before about that pattern I had of getting sick every 3 to 6 months. And I had kind of broken it, and for a hot second I thought, you know what, if I got sick, I wouldn't have to do anything. I could just lay in bed, Quentin would take care of me. You know what, Netflix all day, every day, take naps. And then I caught myself and I thought, you know what, that's who I decided I was not going to be anymore. So what do I do? Now that I'm sitting here feeling like I'm dragging 600 pounds behind me, and my brain is tired, and my body's tired. Sure, I had the choice to just be sick, because my body was actually telling me, you know what, you're close. And I had been getting some messages about things I needed to do to take care of myself, and I hadn't heeded them yet. You know, I heard it, but I was still tired. And I thought, it'll go away. And it didn't go away. And so as I got to Friday, and it was a day off, I literally stayed in bed all of Friday morning. Just to refuel and think and feel and reflect upon what I could have done differently so I didn't get to where I was in that moment. So our superheroes, sometimes the ones that remind us what we may have overlooked or what we need to pay attention to, sometimes are those 12 powers, those things, those powers that we are. Not that we just have. Sometimes the superheroes are our friends, our angels in our life. I had a conversation with this angel Friday. Because I needed somebody else to remind me about what's possible. And then we can get back to who we are. The super suit this gentleman in the cartoon was screaming for. Honey, where's my suit? Why doesn't he know where his suit is? Why can't he get it? Isn't that every wife's answer? Why are you asking me? But really, we have to know where our super suit is. We have to know that there's an armor called the Christ that we are. And that was the only way for me to inflate those two tires, body and mind, that were low all week long. And so after I decided that I didn't want to be sick, because there's one thing to have a day off, it's another thing to have a day off and be sick. I didn't want that. And to compound it all, yesterday I heard from another singer. I'm producing and directing an event that happens tonight, and I knew it was coming, but there was somebody else who was singing, and he was doing, probably sharing 2 songs with me, and he was singing a solo. And then I got a text from him yesterday saying he can't be there tonight. And I thought, alrighty then. Suddenly I'm singing 3 songs, 2 of which I'm familiar with, but 1 I didn't know. And my body was tired. And my brain was tired. And I texted him back right away and said, I understand, and I did. I got that he's in a tough spot right now in life. And I had a feeling he might not be able to do the show. But having it happen, I thought, man, it just felt like after I'm trying to drag 600 pounds, it felt like another 800 were piled on. You know, but the show must go on, as they say. And so I thought, all righty then, I'm singing 3 songs. Okay. And I repeated it again. I'm singing 3 songs. And so I went and I found the lyrics, and then I went on YouTube and I listened to the song a few times. And my body still was not catching up to what my mind was telling me. And isn't that what happens to us? Part of us is dragging, the flesh is weak, but the mind is strong. There are other parts of us that are all in, but you got one part of you that's saying, I don't want to do this. You know, I thought maybe I would switch out the song and find one that I'm comfortable with singing. But I knew that my client picked that particular song because it had meaning to him. And so I want to sing that song. And so I started playing that song, Feeling Good, that we listened to before service. And I wasn't feeling good when I started it. But I played it over and over and over, probably 4 or 5 times, until I started to sway with the music a little bit. And I said, okay, let me find the lyrics. You know, and I start singing. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Despite the fact that I still did not feel good. But you got to start singing the song. You know, we talk about raising our vibration. And often when it's time to raise the vibration, you feel like anything but raising the vibration. You just want to stay down low. Right? You just want to hide. You just want to be where you are in your stuff. And let the 1,400 pounds of whatever it is you're carrying crush you. And say, okay, I surrender. Crush me. But I'd rewritten my story a while ago and said, that's not me, that's not who I am. So I got to flip the switch. So you keep singing the song till you get there. Myrtle Fillmore calls it the intense activity of the mind. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it till you got it. Jesus calls it mastery, choosing the right thing all the time. Choosing the Christ within you all the time. And so I got up and I started to do those things that my body was telling me to do during the week, which probably could have prevented me from feeling like I did on Friday. So I did them Saturday. And I had to do double duty. And eventually I started to feel a little better. Then I laid down and I took a nap. I did some work, took a nap, got up, did a little bit more work, got ready for my event tonight. And the whole time I'm picturing myself at the event, feeling good, and picturing myself on Monday feeling good. Because before I used to just pray, get me through the event, and then I'd get sick immediately after. We get what we ask for. And I've done that. It's happened many a time. I got through the event, powered through, and then crash. Got sick. But again, I decided, I rewrote my story. I don't go there now. I want to feel good on Monday. I want to be strong. I want to have a nice day. And if I choose to lay in bed and watch Netflix, I can, but not because I'm sick. Not because I affirm something else, that I'm weaker than I am, that I don't have the strength that I really do have, that there isn't this armor, that I ignore the armor that's there, but that we refuse to embrace and express. It's there, we just have to grab it and express it. I chose not to close my eyes to what I really am. And then I went to bed early, which is usually a challenge because there's always Netflix. I had 4 more episodes on this new series I'm watching. Yes. And so I turned on the TV thinking, oh, my body doesn't really know the difference, but your body does. And then I turned it off and rolled over and went to sleep. And this morning I feel better. Whatever was threatening to take a hold of me isn't there. This is what Charles Fillmore says about the 12 powers. So this power, the flipping the switch, is zeal, enthusiasm, zeal. I don't think we go to it enough. This is what Charles says about it. The ego, the free I, capital I, the imperishable and unchangeable essence of spirit which man is, chooses every state of consciousness and every condition in which it functions. It gives form and character to these feelings in consciousness as men build houses of lumber, stone, or whatever material they may choose in the manifest. These mental states are all constructed under the dynamic power of the great universal impulse that lies back of all action, enthusiasm or zeal. Zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms. It urges the planet on its course and spurs the ant to great exertion. Ever watch an ant carry something 3 times its size? To be without zeal is to be without the zest for living. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim and ideal that the mind conceives. Zeal is the impulse to go forward, the urge behind all things. Without zeal, stagnation, inertia, death would prevail throughout the universe. The man without zeal is like an engine without steam or an electric motor without a current. Energy is zeal in motion, and energy is the forerunner of every effort. The forerunner of every effort. So if we're going to move through life in glorious achievement, zeal is necessary. A zest for living. And notice, he didn't just say achievement, he said glorious achievement. I could have still gotten through today. I could have still gotten through this event tonight with minimal energy. I could have powered through just because I can tough it out. I know how to do that. My ego knows how to do that. My body knows how to do that. I can talk to my body and say, okay, we're going to get through the next 2 hours, and then you can get sick. I've said that. But glorious achievement is, I'm going to have a fantastic Sunday morning at the center. I'm going to go home and relax in between. I'm going to go to this event tonight, and I'm going to sing those 3 songs like I've never sung them before, and have a glorious evening and have a great day on Monday. What do we want? Do you just want to cruise through? And you can. It's okay. You are still loved. You are still whole, perfect, and complete if that's what you choose. There is no judgment from God. There is no loving you less because you choose just to cruise at this low level and squeak by. Or you can choose glorious achievement and really have this zest for living, and the zest for living has you. And you wake up excited about what's about to happen. And then you step into it like you've never stepped into it before. And along the way, affirm your body, mind, spirit, and heart, and be grateful for it. So this morning I woke up and thanked my body for responding to the extra vitamin C, the extra rest, and the other things that I did. I said, thank you. Thank you. I feel good this morning. I affirm that I'm grateful that I get to choose how I navigate through my life. It doesn't have to be less than. It doesn't have to be mediocre. It doesn't have to be this low-level thing that you're just kind of dragging through. All right, it's Monday. I hate Mondays. Now it's Tuesday. Oh, God, hump day. It's Wednesday. And then you get to Friday and you live for Friday because the weekend's coming. Life is too precious to wish it all away. I'm grateful for life on Monday, just like I am on Friday. And I know if you're retired, you don't think about Monday and Friday.
Man,
Or maybe you still do.
take me there.
Get it mixed up.
Yeah, you get them mixed up. Do you affirm that you're grateful that you know what today is?
That's what cell phones are for, is to tell you what day it is.
I'm grateful that I know it's Saturday. And I don't get dressed to show up at the center today. Yes. Right? Every day is important. Every day is worth it. Every day is calling us to our best. What did Lois Lane say? That it's challenging us to pursue it, pursue goodness and greatness. And you be the superhero in your own life. No matter what that means, you get to determine what that is. And you can determine something different every single day. I can determine something different an hour from now. Yes, Cece.
I always thought your day goes according to your expectations.
Yes, it does. So if you expect good, you get good. Yes. And so I determined last night I was going to expect good this morning. I told my body, we're going to feel good on Sunday. Get the memo. Read it well. We're not going to wake up feeling like this tomorrow. Yes, we get what we expect. We get what we ask for. We get what we pray for. We get what we focus on. What we focus on expands. But yes, it's hard when the darkness is all-consuming and we seem to lose hope, like Lois Lane said. That's when it's tough. That's when you really have to call on the superheroes within you, those 12 powers that you are, or an angel in your life, because you want to be reminded about what's true and right, or find something you've overlooked, or discover something new about yourself that you didn't know before. When I was in that pattern of getting sick every 3 months or so, I didn't really know in my heart that I could be different than that. But then I got tired and I decided I'm going to go in that direction because that's what I want. I'm tired of what is. But I perpetuate the pattern. And I get to stop it in its tracks now by putting on the armor or remembering the armor that is the Christ, that is me. That is the man in the super suit. The suit's not lost. You have it on all the time. Sometimes you might have something else covering it, like the blanket over your head. Right? Or the problems that you're carrying around, the baggage in our lives that we drag behind us all the time. At any moment, you can say, I'm setting down the baggage. And just leave it somewhere. and decide, I'm not dragging you anymore because you're dragging me. And you get to leave it and choose something else that you're not your baggage. Like last week we talked about, I decided that I did not have my father's bad knees. Most of his life I heard about his bad knees. And he always said, a lot of people in our family have bad knees. So when mine started to hurt, I said, oh, I have the bad knees. But then through reading about unity principles and living this, finally I said, you know what? I don't have to affirm bad knees. So I don't. And I talk to them.
That's right. You're right.
And I say, knees, we're feeling good today.
Please.
Even when they hurt sometimes. Because you gotta stay in the intense mind activity. You gotta keep affirming it until the mind, heart, and the body believe and know. And sometimes it takes a lot of work. If you're struggling with health things, Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters are the best thing you can read. Because man, she just lays it out there. 3 years of intense mind activity in order for her to heal herself. 3 years. Friday, I was struggling trying to get 3 minutes of intense mind activity. Yeah. And all you need is somebody to achieve something that you've never achieved, and then you can look at them and say, I can do that too. She proved it, that it can work. But we got to be willing to do the work. We got to be willing to put on the super suit. To open up the button-down shirt like Superman does all the time and sees the big S. Right? So the raising the vibration is getting in the telephone booth like he did. And getting off the human clothes and having on the Superman outfit, right? You got to go in the phone booth. You got to raise the vibration. Find out what it is. And if it's not plan A, go to plan B, C, D, E, F, G. Keep going. And if it's not the first 26 letters, you go to plan A, A, B, B, C, C. Keep going. Right? Don't give up. Because glorious achievement is possible always. Lois Lane said, you can see it, you just have to look up in the sky. And for us, that means higher consciousness. In the Bible, it's referred to as the upper room. Meditation, prayer, affirmations, denials. Singing a happy tune. Dancing around the room like you're on Dancing with the Stars. Whatever works for you. Going into nature. Eddie reminded me about that. We talked about the redwoods, remember? Going out in nature. Do some gardening. If you have a dog, play with your pet. Go rustle up your cat who's sleeping in a corner somewhere. Listen to him purr. Call your grandchildren. Get your hair done. Get your nails done. Whatever it takes. But we get to choose. You get to either look up in the sky or keep your eyes down. It's all yours for the taking or the not taking. Achievement or glorious achievement, we can just do and smoke through. easy, cruising along, letting life bump us in the head all the time. Right? Or we can choose glorious achievement every single day, every moment, whether we feel like it or not. Choose it when you're not feeling it. Because when you start to feel that power and you know that you can turn it around, then you'll go to it again and again and again. And then at some point, you'll stay vibrating here rather than down here. And you'll learn a new level of existence. And when people see you again, they'll say, oh my gosh, what's new? Did you change your hair? What happened? And you'll know it's not that. It's the new vibration where you're living and choosing to be. And people can't explain it, but you know that there's something different because you've been choosing something different every moment. And that's when you've got life by the tail. Let's take this into meditation.